I lead with the opportunity. I lead with the biggest investment, and then we work our way down. Because no matter what, I'm still talking about the product every single day. I'm a product of the product. I'm exposing them to the product. But if I'm going to have my heavy hit, I'm inviting people into the opportunity because I know how much it's transformed my life. And the thing that brings me the most joy isn't just helping people consume our product and feel the better benefits of it. Like, it's changed my life for sure. I will continue to consume this product, with or without the opportunity. It's just that I've heard it time and time and time again. It's almost like how dare I not invite someone into this to do this with me? It's selfish to not invite people.
I agree.
This.
Welcome to the Excellence Project. Eric Worre here. And today I have a dear friend, Courtney Shepard, who is going to talk to you about her network marketing journey as best friend of Jessie Lee Ward. But some of you might have known Jessie Lee or known of Jessie Lee. Sadly, we lost her a little while ago, and too soon, but she left a big mark on the world. And Courtney is picking up where Jessie Lee left off, trying to step into her shoes. And we have a long conversation about all of those things. So I hope you enjoy it. With no further ado, let's jump right into my conversation with Courtney Shepard. Courtney Shepard, how are you?
Wonderful. How are you, Eric?
I'm very good. I'm glad you came to my house.
So honored.
And we're going to have a chat.
Yeah.
Talk about life, talk about network marketing, talk about legacy, talk about team, talk about lessons learned.
Got a lot of those.
A lot of those things. So why don't you just kind of give me the state of the union of where you're at with your business now, generally,
okay,
so people get an idea of where you're at, how things are going, and then we'll go back and kind of talk about the journey.
Sounds great. So general wise, I feel like you tend to like to ask a lot of numbers when you give general. And I was actually looking at where we were at 4 years ago versus now, which is drastically different. A much larger global business that we run multiple countries. We're in about 40 plus countries now. We're 20 levels deep, 143,000 roughly in the community, and about 4,000 active team members currently.
So 143,000 customers.
Yeah, just like total inside of the network.
Customers.
That's everybody.
That includes everybody, but
Yes.
but
majority, yes.
no, but
customers.
when you're talking about the 130, how many?
143.
143, and then 4,000. You have 4,000 business builders
Inside of the 143.
inside of the 143.
Correct.
Right. And you're not saying that there's 139,000 that have quit.
Correct. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
No. So the 4,000 active is like the last numbers that I looked up. So I pulled up when I was looking at our team and the levels, 20 levels deep, 4,000 active people that are currently building.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
132,000 that have, or 40 that have been brought into the business over the last 7 years.
Yeah. Connected somehow,
Yes.
some way.
Yeah.
And using the product.
Yeah.
A lot of them just customers enjoying the product, right?
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And income's growing.
Yes.
Are we starting to think about Hall of Fame or?
Yeah. Yes. We were actually at a small event last weekend, and that was one of the questions that we kind of went around and shared was, what's your next income goal monthly? And I was thinking, okay, over the next year, well, I already know how this game works. Okay, you've prepared me for this. So
right.
I wasn't shooting small. I was shooting uncomfortable. And so I was like, well, I know for sure 83,000 is we're hitting that.
In
not
a month.
Yet. Well, not in a month. Not in the Yes. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
A month. 83.3 thousand to hit the $1 million Hall of Fame. That will for sure happen. So I'm shooting for $250,000 a month.
Wow.
Because we just, we're really setting the big goals to grow again and create.
That's the big stretch goal.
That's the big stretch goal.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Because you're a young lady.
Yeah, 35.
I mean, God, you know how much I'd pay for 35?
I mean, I've heard you talk about it.
I give you everything. Give you the whole thing.
I love hearing you talk about it because it just reminds me of how much time I still have left.
Oh my gosh, you have so much blue sky.
Yeah.
Just so I do too, but you just have more. You know,
and I'm still hard on myself in this journey.
Are you really?
Yeah, of course I am.
Why?
Because it's really about the journey of becoming, just finding joy in that I've allowed myself to surrender to and to find it. But for the longest time, looking at everyone else and feeling like my success should look different. It should come faster. It should,
compare yourself to others.
Oh yeah,
all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So where'd you grow up?
In Missouri.
Okay,
actually, smaller town. 500 people graduated with. So
what was it like growing up? That's a pretty big. Graduating class for a small town.
Every time I say I'm from a small town,
only 500 graduated.
In network marketing, you hear more people talk about small towns, and then you realize, I'm like, oh, well, okay, my town wasn't that small. I got a lot of like big life exposure. I was outside of St. Louis about 45 minutes, but we were raised more in the country, and we never really got to take those big family vacations. My mom was a single mom for me. And I grew up with my stepdad and my 3 younger brothers, but we were always in low income, definitely on financial aid. And I knew I didn't want to like raise my family in that. My mom had me when she was 17. So we were, growing up together, so to speak. Yeah.
So you had, how many siblings did you say you had?
I grew up with 3 younger brothers.
Younger brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Your mom had you when she was 17.
Yes.
So you're the oldest of 4.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it like, growing up with that, assistance and dynamic and all that stuff? Did you know any different, or where everything was just normal?
It's interesting. My grandma and my grandpa, they raised us a lot. So they definitely were making 6 figures. My grandma, she ran her own companies. Her mother was kind of like my anchor to all the good in the world. She passed away whenever I was 5. And she was that person that just brought joy. She brought like an anchor into my life of trust. And
how do you remember that all the way back to 5?
It's just like the time that she would spend with me. She was so present, and she took time to teach me things. And I always kind of felt like I was the black sheep of the family.
Why?
I was the oldest of 4, so I was kind of taking on that motherly role. My mom was working all the time, 2 to 3 jobs. My grandparents were raising us. So we just kind of fell into the feeling like I was not always being listened to and not always understood whenever I would speak. I just felt like I was always thinking outside of the box. Like I saw myself being a millionaire. I saw myself not walking the normal line. I didn't really even know if college was my thing at the time, although none of our family had gone to college. So it was like, I want to do all the things that no one else is doing. And I got to see success and see that, what kind of like that rich life experience felt like through
your grandparents?
Through my grandparents, but more so through my great aunt and through my great grandma. So they talked a lot about money, but I wasn't shown how to manage money properly with how I was being raised.
So you had a little taste of what wealth might look like. You wanted to be different.
Mm-hmm.
There's small town people and there's big city people. I grew up in a small town and I could not wait to get out of there.
Yeah.
I had to get out of there. I can enjoy going back and, the quaint parts of small town life, but I'm not a small town guy.
Yeah.
I like being close to at least like being close to the action, but from a little bit of a distance, like a suburb of a city. Like I'm here in Vegas. It's quiet where I am, but I can see the strip.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, were you somebody that couldn't wait to get out of there?
I definitely saw myself traveling the world. I didn't really know exactly where I would go. It's so interesting because I felt like I could see myself in like that small town country vibe for sure. Cause there's parts of it that I really, really loved. But once we started, growing our family, it just became obvious I get why people live in subdivisions. I get why they have the smaller yards and as we always had a big yard and all of those things. So we've definitely been in the suburb. We found, ironically enough, that we tend to gravitate towards about 45 minutes from an airport. So that's about the distance that I'm at.
Got it. So decent student in school?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're smart?
Yeah. For the most part, till about senior year.
Till about senior year, and then you said, screw it. Heck with it.
I don't need this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And did you go to college or no?
I did some college. Yeah, I didn't finish getting an associate's degree. I actually originally was going for being a teacher. There's all these synchronicities in our childhood where we see ourselves being certain types of people. And I was like, oh, I can't do the paparazzi. I would love to be a singer, but can't do the paparazzi. Maybe I'll be a teacher, because that's the same thing.
Were you good at singing?
I was actually.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
You sound like you have a Broadway voice.
I have.
Like a Disney voice.
Yeah, I could feel that's totally my vibe. I could see that.
What's the movie? Pitch Perfect.
Oh yeah. I vibe with that. I like Pitch Perfect.
Okay.
I like both of those. They're fun.
I could hear that.
The acapella, yeah. I've always had a lot of fun with singing and went choir throughout school, but I ended up going for teaching. And when I did that, I liked it at first. And then I started to really think about what do teachers have to, they have to fall in line. They have to, and I love teachers, biggest hearts. Like there's such a crucial piece of our, society, all those things. But I just couldn't do it. I was like, I get it. No matter what, I'm gonna have to play politics, but the way teachers have to do it, I just can't do it. And I'm not a very good employee. So I just kind of stepped back and wanted to pour myself into work, into making money and just figuring out what my
So this was age what?
I took a year off after high school, went into college about 18, 19. And I was only there for about 2 years and then stepped back. And I don't talk about enough that I originally bought my first kit when I was 18. I stepped back from school and I was.
So you got connected to network marketing at 18?
At 18.
Wow.
But I had no idea other than, buying makeup and my grandma dabbling in things like here and there and buying stuff. I didn't realize that this was a profession.
Was it a party plan type thing?
Definitely party plan back then. She set a fishbowl up when I was a manager at a retail store. And she said, oh, I would just like to set this up so that, we could do a drawing. Well, of course, I won the drawing. I won with.
Oh my God.
I'm sure all of the other people that went into the fishbowl
won.
And so she came to my house with my grandma, and my grandma was like, yeah, I would totally use some of these products. Let's just get the big kit for the discount. I did go to meetings, a couple.
Yeah.
Skincare and makeup just really wasn't my thing.
Okay.
But that's where I started.
So you did that way back then. So just kind of dabbled with grandma.
Yeah, but she wasn't in it. She was just like, yeah, I'll help you. I'll support you. Growing up, I always had belief poured into me by my grandparents and my mom. My mom always told me, like, you can do anything you set your mind to. And I believe that.
So fast forward, what happens next? I mean, are you still in small town?
Yeah, and I'm working multiple jobs at this point.
In small town, you're working multiple jobs. And in small town, there's not a lot to do. And when there's not a lot to do, people usually get in relationships real young.
Yes. Made bad decisions.
They make some interesting decisions.
We can call them interesting.
Boredom is a very dangerous thing.
Yes.
Because if somebody's bored, there's no end to the amount of trouble they could put themselves into.
Very true.
So tell me what happens.
A lot of trouble, actually. I didn't really take any of the network marketing serious. I ended up finding a couple of bad relationships. I really found myself making bad decisions in terms of the boredom and just being around people that weren't really my friends, that were just there because, we were at the same place, same time.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of, at this point in my life, really searching for something more, searching for something bigger, and trying to find that community.
I say it often that I think the longest journey is between when you finish your formal education and you find your thing.
Yeah.
You're unsettled. It's like you're rudderless. You don't quite know what's going to happen. And there's never more of a time where good fortune or serendipity or, I don't know what you'd call it, luck, that one key relationship can take you right or left.
Yeah.
One key incident could take you right or left. A good life, tough life. One key thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it doesn't have to define you, but sometimes you go through there's two-way doors you can go in. Oh, that didn't work out. Come back. And there's one-way doors where you go through and there's no coming back.
It's true.
I
like that.
Yeah. So yeah, this season of finding your thing.
Yeah.
So what things did you try prior to finally landing on this profession?
So whenever I took a step back from it, I feel like looking back, it happened really quickly. When I took a step back from college, trying to figure out what my thing would be, I really saw myself trying to find a way to run my own business and, either working for someone who was, or like really building that dream inside of it. And I had found a friend that kept telling me I would be really good at this thing. All while not realizing I had already tried some of these things. Isn't that so strange? The way that it all plays out, and that led me to that connection that changed everything. In 2014, February 2014, I was thinking about it. I started seeing. I saw a friend of mine doing it, and I was like, I can't do what she does. There's no way I could do it. These are women's parties, okay? So I was like, I can't do what she does. There's no way, until I saw someone that I looked at and thought, if she can do it, I can do it. And so I was already in alignment, knowing that this is what I was going to go do. I walk into this bridal show and she was there. And it was a new brand, a new company at the same time. Fast forward, that company is what led me to meeting Jessie Lee. And so
was that the party plan company that she was involved with prior to her getting involved, like officially in network marketing?
Yes. So this was still direct sales. I joined. I had been doing it for probably about 10 months when I went to the first convention, and that changed everything for me. That's when I really was like, okay, I can make this a thing, and I can take this serious. And in the side of that company, I found my husband now, not through that company, but while I was there, I was going full time with it, found him. And then fast forward, we're pregnant super fast into that relationship. I had already met Jessie Lee. And at this point, through my pregnancy, I had watched her transition companies. And I was told, don't follow her, block her. And I was like, there's got to be a story to this woman, because I relate so much to.
Because she was so polarizing at the time?
Yes. And bold and just loud in her opinions. And I knew there was a story there. Because if I'm getting emails telling me to block someone, to not follow someone, then there's got to be something there.
Why were they saying that?
Do
you think?
I think that sometimes.
Back then.
Yeah, I think that sometimes, when we've had a lot of people leave our business. And that scenario, ultimately, I'll share this, is that it showed me exactly what to do and what not to do, to just love people where they're at, and to not make a big deal if they're not making a big deal. Right. And I think that they were trying to kind of, sweep things over, like blow them under the rug, trying to not get people to look at it. And in reality, all that made people want to do is watch and look.
Interesting.
So by bringing it up,
Well, she wasn't going to be stopped anyway.
I mean,
right?
No.
It wasn't going to matter. You could block. It wouldn't matter. You'd still hear her on the other side of the world.
And for me, it didn't take the emails. I was watching anyway.
Yeah.
And in that process of
so
watching.
when did you meet Jessie Lee then?
2014.
Okay. So you met her, but you weren't part of her group.
Took a photo, said hello, followed her training.
What color was her hair at the time?
Black.
Black.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever.
And she wore a lot of pink.
Yeah, a lot of pink.
Yeah, she wore a lot of pink back then.
Yeah. I didn't know her until she had colorful hair.
Yeah. Blue.
Yeah. Yeah. In the blue phase.
Yes, very much bold.
The first
that was to get
six-figure
attention.
summit. Huh? The first six-figure summit when she was
shaved head.
Yeah. No, a little on the side, yeah.
Side
with the blue and she came in all sassy and then she realized it was a really big room.
I remember her joining that too.
And she was like, "Oh,
after GoPro. Yeah.
Oh, this is like there's big money in here."
She talks about that. She came in with her Michael Kors bag or something like that and was thought she was hot stuff. She was hot stuff.
Yeah.
It's just the growth that
I just didn't know how to take her for real or not. Just because the energy was so unusual.
Yeah.
Then it's like, is this for real? Is this like, how much you making?
I've felt that vibe for myself as well.
Yeah. You're supposed to be in this room, like kind of.
Yeah.
But anyway.
It makes sense.
Yeah. So,
I think that's what has happened a lot over time.
Yeah. So I mean, the company that you're with now, you worked with her for how many years?
So that was 2014. I had joined her in June of 2016. And then we really started building a relationship in 2017. And then we're coming up on 7 years next month that we've been inside of Prove It.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's fine. It's fine.
Inside of our company now.
Yeah. Yeah. No worries. So those who don't know, Jessie Lee Ward was a dear friend of both of ours and who passed away too soon last year. Mm-hmm. Sad. You and I got to be there I got to be there the day before. You were there the whole time.
Yeah.
But I was glad I got on that plane. I'll tell you what.
Mm-hmm.
So did I ever tell you the story of the day after?
I don't think so. Maybe we talked briefly at GoPro, but we haven't really had time.
Oh my gosh. So the day after, I have to go film some things and I got to go speak at a big conference for a major company.
I've heard this from from you, but from Marina.
Yeah. So I'm doing some recording at our big studio and getting ready to go. There's, 3,000 people waiting for me. And I got to go speak in like 45 minutes for 3 hours. And Marina pulls up and she says, "Hey, I'm going to go with you." And I'm like, "What? You drive your car, I'll drive my car. I mean, what's going on?" And then, I could see on her face and then like, oh man, that she was gone. But, and I almost didn't go. I was just like, you know what? I can't.
How? Right.
I cannot do this.
Mm-hmm.
And literally it was like her voice in the car saying, "If you don't, I will kick your ass." There's the next Jessie Lee in that room. You better go.
Yeah. You
better go. So I did. And it turned into a huge thing from going.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know who's going to be in the room. It turned into a humongous thing. Very true. Global thing. So, so anyway, lessons learned in the last 7 years.
Yeah. A lot.
So let's talk about some of those in any particular order that you'd like to go through them. What are some of the lessons learned? What are some of the wisdom that you picked up? What have you developed as your own superpowers? What do you do well? What are you still working on?
Yeah.
all of that stuff?
Well, when I think about when I like finding Jessie Lee and the time that it took for me to find a leader that I was connected to, I had already felt that for years at this point. And I emulated everything that she did. I used the one-liners she would give. I did my trainings the way that she would do them. Before that we were even like really loud on social media, we were inside of Facebook groups together. And I watched her for 10 months to really see, is this person, without liking, without commenting, because that back then we were on Facebook a lot. And if you liked or commented, other people could see it. You still can, but I was not letting anyone know that I was watching. And in that process, I think it's so important because I watched her to make sure that not only did she mean what she said, but that she actually did what she said she was going to do. Fast. Like she followed through. She was so consistent. The way that she showed up online, you could always tell it was so consistent. It was exactly who she was in person. And I watched to figure all of that out, especially for someone who, when I met her, she's very clearly introverted. Mm-hmm. And so that was a huge piece of really how I adapted and over these last 7 years of just consistently show up as exactly who you say that you're going to and follow through and do what you say you're going to do. Yeah. And that was probably one of the biggest things that has carried me through because it created so much authenticity. And that became such a motto for her as well of just be you, be so you, and so authentically you that you're going to repel people away from you. You're going to create haters, and the haters are what make you famous, and all of that. There's so many lessons tied inside of all of those different things that I've had to face along the way, and that really set like such a strong foundation for me of I know who I am when I go to sleep at night. Like I know what my character is. It doesn't matter what my reputation is and what other people say about me. Right. And just so long as they're saying something. Yeah. It's okay. I know, right? This has taken a process to really. To be okay with that. Yes. I mean, especially over the last year. Why? Because over the I would say about 2.5, 3 years ago, the haters online got really, really loud. I remember. And they got loud for Jessie Lee. But inside of that process, I'm very loudly spoken about as the best friend. I'm not a best friend. I'm the best friend. And that could kind of also cast this, I know how I want to show up. I know what Jessie Lee's best friend should look like. And do I feel like I'm that person? And all around the same time of me trying to kind of figure that out for myself of who am I? How do I want to show up? And what is the most authentic version of myself while people are kind of rejecting me in some areas, learning the process that's happening for me, not to me. And so these haters are getting really, really loud about her and slowly but surely start attacking me in the process as well. And I'm just so grateful that I had her there through that process because I not only was always watching myself, like seeing things through my own perspective, especially with her, but also watching them through her perspective because she's a person. We all think she's an alien and she's like Elon Musk, but she really is just a girl. She's just a human being. And you knew this more than anyone as someone who mentored her and coached her through phone calls and things that were going on. And she would remind me, like, just don't read them. Don't allow yourself to get sucked in. We're all human. Her and I both got sucked into videos about ourselves time and time here, time in there. But we know that when you highlight something and you draw attention to it, it brings more attention to it. Right. And my followers have no idea that there's people online hating about me unless I tell them. And they have no idea the things that are being blasted about. I don't even know at this point because I just learned how to shut it off. I mean, I'm sure Post have people. Ghost. Yeah. It's like I don't know about it. And you know what? I've shifted my energy that I don't actually have people telling me in my inbox that I had people randomly like, they're live about you right now. And I'm just like, oh, the devastation. And it just totally took me out of my energy and my element. But that doesn't happen to me anymore. I'm able to just get stronger. Yeah. Get stronger. Yeah. And so the last year of kind of navigating that without her here physically has been interesting, but also I had her so strongly in person for so long that. Yeah. Like your mom. Yeah.
Had for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. About the same amount of time.
It's true.
Crazy. Thing about haters is they do run out of energy. They
I
just
think that's
do.
happened.
They just do. And they might get replaced by somebody else, and it's fine.
Mhm.
But if you don't have somebody criticizing what you're doing, I mean, you look at anybody doing anything.
Yeah.
Politics is weird, so that gets really strange. But any titan of industry, any business person, anybody is going to be questioned.
Mhm.
Anybody who gives something, it's never enough.
It's true.
What they give. So you have to do the things that you're going to do for your own reasons. But let me back up from the big view and get granular. I work with some organizations that are very, very good at social media and some that are not good at social media. And the ones that were not really struggled during pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that were had a big boom and had to deal with the aftermath of the big boom of the pandemic growth. Right. But how do you build a network marketing business in today's world utilizing social media?
That's granular.
Well, I want you to break it down.
Okay.
Break it down. Tell me how a person join your organization, join your team. How do you show the average person how to go on social media, create customers,
Yes,
create distributors, and build a team?
Yeah. When you first started asking the question, my first thought is that you have to be hybrid. There's so much inside of what we do in person and connecting with people that transfers online. And the first thing that people need to be able to build online is to know their transferable skills. Because if you have a bad reputation, you're either going to be promoted or exposed based on, I don't know, you probably said this before, I'm quoting somebody else, based on the life that you led prior. And so we have people that we bring in to show them how to build online that maybe they don't have a network. Maybe they haven't connected with people. So building online is going to take a little bit more time. But either way, the first thing that we do with them is get them to really share, like create and build their brand. So what
are the elements of a brand for you?
For me,
in your mind,
for me personally, it's those things that, like, really the foundation of it is just the value points that you can talk about forever. I think nowadays people try to overcomplicate what it looks like to build online. And if you talk about things that are valuable to you, what
do you mean by value points? You just talking about passions, things that you could talk about for forever?
Yeah.
Things that you're interested in?
Yeah, that's kind of where it starts. And I think when people try to tell you how to build online and they really want you to niche down and get super specific in categories, that absolutely works. And it will allow you to grow and expand super fast if that's how your brain works. I'm a multifaceted person and I'm a woman. So I just have a lot of things about me that I talk about. I'm a mom, I'm a wife. Yes, I have those value points that I could go on and on about. And so inside of that, it's like, what can I talk about forever that I can also connect and transfer conversations easily from the value that I'm bringing online into my product or service or opportunity that I have to offer. And so for myself, it's that getting people to kind of dive into and coaching them.
What do they love? What do they love? What could they talk about? Start talking about it more?
Yes. And then really getting them to answer all these questions so that they understand more about themselves, because they all think that they're boring. They all think they have nothing to talk about. And so as we're coaching them through, these are the things that you have. Sometimes what they picture their value points are going to be end up transitioning. There's a fly.
The fly's chasing you.
He is.
It's all right.
Sometimes the value points that they think that they're going to bring to their online social media ends up transitioning as we kind of coach them through it, because it's not just about, it's not just about the value points. It's also, what do you want to be known for in the process? And so they kind of take that on a little heavy. So it takes time to like peel back the layers and process it for them.
Well, like Jessie Lee was the best student I think I've ever had when it comes to taking, here's a kernel of idea, take this idea.
Yeah.
And you see her squeak and she'd jump off her chair and she'd write it down and it was done.
Yeah.
She would go implement.
She was already texting us when you were,
Boop.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, we're going to do this now. Yeah. So she put those things into place inside of very, very kind of stable, solid systems. Mm-hmm. Were you part of the system creation?
Yes. Is systems my strong point? No.
Okay.
I could align with her vision and her idea and be able to bring the team together to work on that. So I was always involved in all of these projects from the point that we launched to recreating the foundation of our system whenever it was Facebook groups, and then reestablishing it whenever we kind of took it digital and really started doing that as well. So I've always been a part of every layer of the system.
What did you learn? What was it? What are the lessons you learned about the value of systems?
It's really how I firmly believe that inside of the systems, you have to have your own authenticity, and that is what creates the duplication. But you don't get the duplication unless you have standard operating procedures written out for each of these things that can be done.
Give me an example.
Because we have employee mindset people that come in, and so they need a playbook on telling them exactly how to post, telling them.
So you tell every person that's in your business, here's exactly how to post on social.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly how to post, how to show up, stories, how to bring value, where to bring the value, how often you should bring the value. And
then you just kind of plan to review until you figured out the formulas. What's the current formula on frequency? With
posting, especially still, I love that the foundation of it hasn't really shifted because people, yes, they're told to post more or post less, but we've always gone by the 4-2-1 or the 10-4-1. So that is just the amount of posts that you're doing in a week. Yeah, I know you've heard this one a few times.
But the audience hasn't.
Yeah.
So explain 4-2-1 and 10.
It's the exact same thing. It's just about, are you posting once a day or twice a day? And it's the amount of times in a week. So 10-4-1 is 15 posts, obviously. And that one is really, I'll kind of walk you through it backwards. But the one is the heavy hitting. That's the one where you're doing one time a week. You're telling them to buy your product or service, how to do it.
A directly request.
Yes. And I recommend that it's definitely in a post and a live video. So that one is for us has always been that live video, because the live, it's not pre-recorded. It's not edited. People just get to know you. They see you, they feel you, and they want to buy from you. That's where you build the most trust. The reversing it, so 10-4-1, the 4 posts are really those kind of like getting them interested, letting them know you have something, but not directly asking them for it. It's like dangling the carrot, like, hey, we have this. Check it out. Comment if you want some more information. If you're here to learn more or looking for this or this. Mm-hmm. Those 10 posts, the majority of the value that you're bringing to your social media page is going to be those points inside of that we kind of were discussing.
Around your passions.
Around your passions.
10 posts around your passions, 4 posts saying, hey, I have something. Comment if you want to learn more. 1 a week, hardcore, straight at 'em.
Join me or buy it.
Join me or buy it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and here's how.
Yeah.
With a specific call to action.
Correct.
Got it. So the 4-2-1 is a daily?
It's just the half. So instead of, you have kind of part-time people that when they're just starting out.
That will post 7 times a week instead of 15.
Correct. And the best part about this is that we teach them how to take those same exact 10-4-1 from this platform over to that platform, over to that platform. So if they love Facebook, do it on Facebook. But you can still transition that onto Instagram and on to TikTok as well. Obviously, the videos are what are really hitting. So it used to be with static posts with live videos all together, but really it's all video now.
So rank for me, first of all, what kind of posts are hitting the best?
Rank for you. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Live.
Got it.
Live on top?
For me, I think
What's working for the team?
so. For the team, I feel like if they're not going live, they're missing a big audience.
Okay, so live video.
I think it's super important. And then the second one I would say is
just video,
reels,
live video, then reels,
and your stories,
and then stories.
Yeah, and I would even interchange and argue that sometimes the reels are more important because less and less people are going to watch a full live video, but that's the market that people tend to forget about these days because they don't want to go live.
So explain that.
I think that people are getting so used to creating the short form videos and ignoring pressing the live button and talking to their audience live.
Just going.
Yeah.
I find myself, with the countdown, I got to keep this under 60 seconds.
Right.
In order to be able to do this thing.
And then we're kind of pulled in multiple different ways.
Yeah, I got a lot more to share, but I got 10 seconds left. So I got to wrap it up.
Yeah.
So see you next time. So it's the ultimate test and adjust, just like try something, and something that worked 3 years ago is probably not working as well right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you go with the flow. You see, this is working a little bit more. Carousels are working better than a one.
Long captions. Yeah, it's like do the long
captions.
Hashtags
are dead.
Hide the hashtags.
Nobody wants to see the hashtags. They just want the AI picks it up off the descriptions.
The AI, yeah. Tag the people. Don't tag the people. Hide the tags.
Yeah, hide the tags. Don't hide the tags. So the name of the game really is just post.
Mm-hmm.
And occasionally ask them to buy or join.
Right. Exactly.
And say, here's what I have.
And if
I can help you.
Yeah. And if you're showing up seldomly, stop asking them every time you show up on social media. They don't like that either.
Yeah. So show up and you make sure the ratio is right.
Yeah.
And the ratio is about either 1 out of 7 or 1 out of 15.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you got to keep the ratio.
That's true.
The harder you hit, the more you have to bring value.
1,000%.
Yeah, in between.
Especially now. And I think one of the biggest things that people, I haven't heard enough people talking about is the length of time that it takes for people to want to buy from you. The dollars, I think we had this conversation on a call not long ago though, about that people are spending their money. They're just not consuming products as much. They're spending money on experiences. The airplanes are full. They're flying, they're traveling, they're spending their money. They're just holding on to it a little bit tighter. And so they're not saying no to you, they're saying not right now. And the amount of exposures that it's going to take for them to say yes to you, to see the value in you and what you are offering is no longer 7 to 10 exposures.
What do you think it is?
I think it's double at minimum.
I think it's like 30 to 40.
Yes. I mean,
online.
Because they're
in
so
person,
used to it.
One-on-one, it's like 6.
Yeah, get more people.
But online, it's like, how many people have decided that they're going to buy something?
Everyone's selling you something.
They've decided, I'm going to buy this thing.
Yes.
But they just haven't gotten around to buying it. And they've seen that ad
target market them
100,000 times. They've seen the ad.
Yeah, guilty.
Or you've hovered over something a little bit too long, so now you see the ad, automatically.
We've talked about it
in your feed constantly, or you bring it up in conversation, and your phone picks it up.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, that's all you're seeing, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to buy that.
Yeah.
But still, it was 9 months later that you did it.
Yeah, we're desensitized to it, and I have taught myself how not to impulse buy.
Really?
I've trained myself not to do that. So Jessie Lee would actually train us on this a couple of times. She's like, stop just impulse buying. You know what? You get the same amount of dopamine hits by just putting it in the cart. So the amount of stuff that just sits in my cart, and the cart will sometimes get filled up a few times, multiple times over. The stress is an example. I had it in the cart multiple times.
Really?
And I asked myself, if I'm still thinking about it, then I will purchase it. But trained myself differently on how I spend my money, how I consume products.
Well, it's a good lesson because that's what's happened with everybody else.
Yes.
So how much of your success online comes in selling products, leading with product versus leading with opportunity?
I don't lead with product anymore.
So but you used to.
I used to.
It used to just be
And
just
I
product, samples,
Yes.
going live, packing samples, sending samples, sitting there in your, garage, whatever, packing up samples, talking about flavors, talking about whatever.
Yes. I still do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But not as much.
Correct.
Right. Why?
I lead with the opportunity. I lead with the biggest investment, and then we work our way down. Because no matter what, I'm still talking about the product every single day. I'm a product of the product. I'm exposing them to the product. But if I'm going to have my heavy hit, I'm inviting people into the opportunity because I know how much it's transformed my life. And the thing that brings me the most joy isn't just helping people consume our product and feel the better benefits of it. Like, it's changed my life for sure. I will continue to consume this product, with or without the opportunity. It's just that I've heard it time and time and time again. It's almost like how dare I not invite someone into this to do this with me? It's selfish to not invite people.
I agree.
This. And
I agree. But there's a lot of people that are a little gun shy, or there's been regulatory action and you got to have so many customers and all this other kind of stuff. So people that there's some companies that were almost ashamed of the recruiting piece of their business culturally. And it always annoyed me because that's what built it. It just annoyed me so much. And you see companies making really poor decisions of late, and there's going to be more poor decisions coming that they'll wish they hadn't made. But, what are you going to do?
When you get the bird's eye view.
I do.
It's just so obvious from this higher level perspective.
So bad. There's one company, I won't mention their name, but they just hated network marketing for the last 10 years. And they just gutted every one of their distributors just in the last 90 days.
It's traumatizing.
Took away their entire business.
Yeah.
And took every single one of the people, essentially stole every single one of the people that those people brought in their network, and took them frontline to the company and said, you can become a little seller of ours if you'd like.
Yeah.
It's criminal, in my opinion. It's just so awful. But anyway, I could digress on it's a fine line right now in the network marketing world. If companies overreact to the marketplace, it's very dangerous. If they underreact, it's very dangerous. So they have to ride this line down the middle, and get it right in order to be
one-way doors versus two ways.
Yes. To get it right in order to be able to thrive in this market. So what I've looked for, and what I always worked with Jessie Lee on, and you, of course, through the process, is finding little things that made a big difference.
Yeah.
Whether it was core rank or 10 recruits or convention attendance or doing your own events if you needed to for your team, or radical recognition for your organization, showing appreciation in crazy ways. Did I ever show you the picture that Jessie Lee sent me that it's hung up in the gym?
I have seen that. She sent me the photo when she had it commissioned for you, and like the pieces that were added into that. And
but she was an example of that.
Yeah.
That appreciation for organization.
That thing right there of just like appreciation.
Yeah.
Even something
just out of the blue for no reason. No special occasion, no special anything. But finding little things, it's the thing that gets me most excited. Finding little things that's going to make a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
So, the big three for me are core rank
Mm-hmm.
inside of a company, 10 recruits inside of a company, and destination event attendance inside of a company. Those three, growing those three as core, those are the big three right now. And maybe down the road, that'll change. I found that products change and DMOs change, and methods of operation change, systems change, cultures change, but some of the things don't change.
Right.
Like finding prospects doesn't change.
Still got to talk to people.
Inviting, talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people you don't really have a quality problem, you have a quantity problem. You're just not talking to enough.
Right.
Or you're not being consistent enough. The only reason why I'm still here doing what I'm doing 15 years later is I wore everybody else out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just still doing it and still going to go and still going to keep going. And started with no idea that it was going to get here into this space. But some things change and you need to be adaptable, but don't overreact. Right. And some things don't change. We're in a business to educate people so they understand what we have. We sell and support. Yeah. We recruit and support. We duplicate and we lead. Those are never going to change. Mm-hmm. Right. Everything else can change. Comp plans will change and company execs will change and, the world will keep changing. Yeah. I mean, we're entering a world that's getting a little bit nuts. Hey there, just a quick interruption, especially for network marketers. Whether you're just starting out or if you're ready to level up, GoPro Academy has just what you need to take your network marketing business to the next level. Get step-by-step training on how to get started or restarted the right way, and then get everything you need to earn 6 figures or more and become a network marketing pro. To learn more, just visit goproacademy.com. I've helped millions of people learn how to recruit, tens of thousands of people to reach 6 figures, and I've personally helped more than 1,000 people achieve 7-figure incomes and above in network marketing. I can help you too. Head to goproacademy.com today, and I'll see you there. Any new tools, any new things coming out that's like fresh and new? Well, before we get to fresh new tools, rank the social media platforms high to low on what's converting the best right now.
Okay. So I will just speak. I really, really feel like this is based around passions. Mm-hmm. And I'll speak from our organization because our team definitely has their passions in multiple different platforms. So when you are asking for converting the people that when they're posting and getting the responses, the people posting on their preferred platform and going the most consistent and the hardest on those platforms, those are the best platforms for them.
So there's no such thing as the best platform.
I am obsessed with Instagram. It's where I get all of my leads. It's where I connect with the most people. And yet I still have people sending me friend requests on Facebook and talking about how Facebook is their favorite platform and how the reach on Facebook is just crazy. The amount it depends on their goals. They're getting getting a ton of in their age. They're getting a ton of views. They still feel like people are on Facebook to connect and communicate. So they're like the people that are looking for more communities, they still want it to be on Facebook. Then you have Instagram where it's this, you're able to connect socially and the algorithms are switching so that the things that you're seeing are so different. I'm able to follow hashtags and see things based off of just following hashtags. I can see stories based on that. I can really connect through stories on Facebook or Instagram. But for me, people post it first on Instagram. So you actually get more of people's lives when they post their stories on Instagram because not everything will transfer over to Facebook. And then TikTok, it's still a heavy hitter for those who are obsessed with TikTok. It never became my jam, but we have
never
team
became
members.
my jam either.
And Jessie Lee was like, I remember when we were all
She
talking
was
about that.
pushing me.
Definitely, she was not going to do it, and then all of a sudden she did it, and she was the
went
best
bananas.
at it.
Yeah.
She was the best at it. And so it's just a matter of which one are you willing to create content on, fall in love with one platform, and then just transfer.
But YouTube, you ever play with it?
That's the one area that I keep being told you have to get on.
Yeah.
And Pace Morby was the one who coached me through that.
Yeah.
And that's where he's grown his entire community on there. People just want to watch you live.
I've underdone it.
Yeah.
On YouTube.
You have.
Sure.
You've talked about upping it for a while now.
Well, and I've upped quantity in a lot of different directions.
Yeah.
But again, it's planned.
It's a search engine too.
Right. No.
It's totally different.
Everything is now.
It's true.
Every single platform is. All right. So I buy that quantity matters. Pick your platform, start, and adapt.
You can grow. You can reach. You want to know the craziest thing? I looked up the downloads, and I don't want to give wrong numbers, but you just look it up yourself if you're listening to this. Go to the App Store and look at Facebook, look at Instagram, and look at TikTok. There are like 13 million downloads on Facebook. I could be totally wrong. It is 3 times the amount, though, on Instagram of people that actually have the app downloaded. Wild.
Crazy.
It's crazy. And then you think about the amount of, whenever we have people on our team that have targeted their own countries by speaking, the mother language of the country, and been able to just been like, either they're posting in English or she's posting in Swedish. And then all of a sudden she's like, you know what? I'm going to take over Sweden. I'm taking over the entire market. And she just started posting in Sweden or in Swedish, and she's exploded her following. So it's really, and it's Sweden, it's not Spanish. It's not German. It's not French. It's Swedish.
Yeah.
So you can really just get focused, get consistent, and just go all in on it. It doesn't matter the platform. It doesn't matter what you're talking about as long as you.
Have you played with any of the AI tools?
I have.
Did you play with NowSite?
I did actually.
Yeah.
I was setting up my getting to know me. And I feel like I talked too formal to it. So I need to redo it to make my story a little bit better.
More, yeah.
Make it more like me.
What's so interesting about it is...
It's good though.
Yeah. What's so fascinating is they created an avatar of me. They taught it everything that I've trained for 36 years. And you can ask it any question you want about network marketing. And I will answer. In every language in the world.
That is
in my voice.
Yes.
And as a video of me. So
I recorded my own.
So crazy.
It is.
So crazy what it's doing. And by the time this airs, they'll have I'm assuming you use boards occasionally?
Yeah.
So
yeah, we use a lot of boards a lot.
So they're creating a better version of that inside of NowSite, but all 100% free.
I've heard of, I don't know if you look, because I know with being super focused on NowSite, but I had heard about, I was Zoom with Ace. So Ace had something like that too, but they were both at ANMP.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of where all of the techs were collaborating and are coming together and just sharing all of the different things.
It's fascinating. So I think those that get in front of using AI tools early, it's going to be bigger than social media.
It's compressing so much time, energy, effort,
Ultimately, it's going to... You can train your avatar to go out and create content.
It's just so cool.
Do you know it can create video content now?
Yes.
Have you seen it?
We've literally used it in our system.
No. The NowSite.
Not that one specifically, but I have seen it.
Here's the thing. Here's what it's brand new. You can have it clone your voice and make a video by just telling it, I want it to be a video about this. with these themes and these images. And I'd like music in this tone and my voice talking about procrastination.
Yeah, like a tip.
And it'll make it. Takes a couple minutes and it makes it, and you don't need an editing team. So yeah, the world's changing. And I think in the next 5 years, it's the network marketers that master and get in front of AI are going to have a huge advantage over people who don't.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Because we still need to, we serve a bunch of different functions. We educate the consumer. We stand between the company and the consumer. We educate. We
demonstrate how
demonstrate
it works.
them. We show them. We have a sense of community that's unique and valuable and important and lovely. There's personal development that's kind of attached inside of what it is that we do. People become a better version of themselves,
right?
By being involved with that. And then people need to have a way to be able to go earn some money. And this is one of those ways for people to be able to earn some money. Once you have a smartphone, you kind of don't have any excuses anymore, unless you just literally choose not to go make money.
Right.
Because you have 8 billion people in the world to reach. And now I can reach them all in every language. I can't wait till that's live.
Crazy. Yeah.
And I can go live and it literally auto translates into everybody's language accurately in real time.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We're very, very close. Months away from that being able to happen. Imagine going live on an Instagram story or events. I mean,
listen, events are another animal. I mean, I've had the conversation with you multiple times. So can we get this language translated? Well, we need this, we need this, we need this.
So
and
expensive.
Much. It's a lot.
So
you have the real people.
If you're in that business, you're going to be out of business. If you're in the translation business, you're going to get all the dollars you can get because you got about 12 months.
American Sign Language too.
You got about 12 months and then it's over.
Yeah.
Because it's all going to be done and it'll be seamless. You won't be able to tell.
It's just amazing the different areas that are creating the need for adapting at such an aggressive rate.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd listened to a lot of podcasts and man, where tech is going. We're not going to
really, it's amazing and it's incredible. It's also scary.
Yeah,
and I'm not scared.
I think,
but
here's my view. It's like elections are scary.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
But I've never been afraid of an election. Everybody's always said every election, if this side wins, it's going to be the end of the free world. If that side wins, it's going to be the end of the free world. I'm like, if you want to believe that, go ahead.
Right.
But I'm an entrepreneur and we just adapt.
Yeah.
So there's never going to be a time. So I've always just adapted to every administration, whatever. Same thing's true with technology. Same thing's true with AI. Same thing's true with systems and DMOs.
Just shows you how to take things. And
same thing's true, working with different organizations that doing things that I've never seen done ever.
Yeah.
And they actually did it. And I'm like, oh, okay. I've learned something new. Now I got to think about how that fits into what's going on. Now let's figure out if we're going to add technology to it. If we're not. So I believe it's the entrepreneurs who are most able to adapt to changing methods.
Yeah. And they have to have belief.
Yeah.
So often people, we were talking about haters. Like if you are doing things right, you're going to trigger people with your presence. Just by being there.
Say that again.
I don't have time to spend around people that my presence triggers them. And it's what you're saying too.
So if you're doing things right, you're going to
If you're doing things right, then naturally your presence is going to trigger people. Just by being you.
And you know what's funny? I call this the rule of 10 because there's so many companies change entire systems, ways of doing business because 4 people complain. And then they all get together and they say, everybody's complaining about this.
I love it so much. They say, okay, who's everybody?
Yes. So I always say, if it's more than 10 and you can give me names, then let's talk about it. But if it's less than 10, you cannot let yourself be sold by those people. So the rule of 10. So most people stop doing something that's working because 8 people complain. And then they just stop doing that thing. And they don't know why they don't have momentum 8 months later. So
just dialing this in, reminding myself.
It's the rule of 10.
It is. It's true.
You cannot let a small group, even if they're influential, sometimes especially if they're influential.
Yeah.
Because sometimes more senior, more legacy leaders, the old guard, quote unquote, from your company, they get their significance by complaining.
Yeah. Using their voice and then it gets to the point where they don't have anything positive to say anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So nobody will pay attention, so they have to say something because they don't want somebody to look at their actual production because they haven't been producing for a while. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying, I'm generalizing when I'm talking about old guard, because in our business, it is the most forgiving business in the world, because you can do something 20 years ago and still be just kind of riding it and making money today.
How do you feel about that? Do you think that that's going to shift in our
mixed?
Yeah.
Mixed.
I do too.
I think the idea of do for 3 to 5 years what other people won't, so you have the rest of your life what other people don't, is the worst meme.
It's the reason why people, our profession doesn't always feel professional.
Right. It's the worst.
And it's
meme.
shifting massively right now.
Yeah. You need to, Intel. I was just watching, but just before you got here on CNBC, Intel might go out of business. They're this close. They're on a razor's edge of going out of business. Intel.
Since DOS, since 1990.
Intel. Because
80s.
They're not keeping up with NVIDIA and these other, super AI chip manufacturers or whatever.
They didn't choose to adapt.
Or they got outmaneuvered or outworked, or who knows? I don't know the backstory. All I know is they're like,
this is why recruiting is so important
for pieces and parts.
Yeah.
You can't build one thing and have it for forever.
It's true. That's why recruiting is so important.
Yeah.
Bringing in new minds, new ideas, new vision, new purpose.
There are some companies.
Energy.
There are some companies that allow like inheritance, like kids to have the distributorship if a parent dies.
Yep. We can will our business. Yes.
Right. But they're giving the kids the recognition that they actually built it. They're sending the kids on the trips.
I'm just kidding.
They're sending the kids on the trips. They're putting the kids on stage. The kids have never recruited anybody.
I need to have a conversation with my children. Stat.
Like, what is going on? Like, you take the money, but this idea of it's so entitled in our world that like, no, you don't understand the price that I paid 12 years ago. Well, the market doesn't care.
Right.
Try and sell that on Wall Street. What you did 12 years ago? Good luck.
Right.
But it's so entitled inside of our space that like, no, that's the promise. If I work really hard for a little while, and I hit, then then I don't have to do anything.
Make a shift, and it divides. It divides.
Well, those aren't the real entrepreneurs. I mean, honestly, I was thinking about this over the course of the last couple of days. How many people on your team do you think are entrepreneurs?
Oh my gosh, 1%.
Yeah, because I played with the term solopreneur because most of them don't have employees, so they're they're an independent contractor, right? They're an independent distributor. They're a representative of a company.
Yes.
But I've even gone to the point of micropreneurs.
Sometimes I wonder for myself.
I think they're micropreneurs.
Yeah.
They're just barely in the game.
I mean, you talked to us about it in Next Level Mastermind, and like spot on. Like, how many hours are you working this week?
Be honest.
And what do the hours actually look like?
Right.
What are you getting done? What are your daily methods of operations? And
Right.
I'm already feeling like, wow, okay, it's definitely transformed for me over the last 6 months of what I'm doing versus what's kind of pulling me in versus the things that bring me joy versus the things that I need to do more of.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy to get pulled into the managing side when you get to a certain level.
or just playing the kiddie games.
That too.
You know, it's like I'm fanatical about Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and people like that because I always think if Jeff Bezos could only make money building a network marketing organization, not a company, but a downline as a field leader, right?
Okay.
What would he do? How big would it be? How fortunate would the company be that got that vision connected?
Right.
But too many people, they come in, they make $100,000 a year, they make $200,000 a year, and they're like, you know what? That's good. I'm good. That's not a Bezos mindset. Or if an Elon Musk said that was the only way he could make money was to build a network marketing downline, build an organization. That was it. That was the only way he could do it. Okay, he couldn't do it through SpaceX, or he didn't. And let's assume he didn't own all those things and he wasn't famous. He was just Elon Musk. What would his systems look like? They would be extraordinary, wouldn't they?
Right.
How would he create duplication within his organization? What would the culture be like? And I've been in some rooms lately that have reminded me that I'm playing just in the kiddie games, just so small.
Yeah.
And it's a good feeling to realize there's levels. And yes, network marketing is forgiving. Yes, there's a lot of people being paid a lot of money that they haven't worked for in a long time. And that's a kind, nice thing. It's a very forgiving thing. I don't know a harder business at the beginning to grow and build. And I don't know a more forgiving business later.
Right.
To be able to kind of just ride and pretend like you're building a business. Show up on the Zooms, show up at the events, take some selfies, sign some autographs, do a little keynote. And
how many people are sitting here like, is he looking over my shoulder right now?
Probably not that many, because I mean, look, how many make $1 million a year in network marketing? 1,000 maybe? I don't know. Maybe there's more than that.
I was going to say, it'd be a good number to figure out.
I think if I had to guess, my guess is around 1,000.
1,000 annual
that are currently making over $1 million a year. I could be off, but it's hard to tell.
Right.
It's hard to really know. Some countries,
especially with the fluctuation. Yeah,
some countries they don't want it to be known because there'll be a kidnapping risk. In some third world countries,
crazy.
If you're a big earner, you want to kind of keep it quiet.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Growing a global organization is a big difference. So when you're thinking the amount of things that Americans, I'm telling you guys, you need to expose yourself to more, because there is so much out there. The world is so much bigger than you're giving it credit for. And it's also so much smaller than you realize. I just navigating things with Europeans and conversations and obstacles that they're facing. It's like you really start to realize how much room you have to grow as a leader when you are working with people from multiple different countries.
Yeah.
Exposing yourself to challenges that you would otherwise not.
So you're playing small. I'm playing small. We're all playing small.
Yeah. We just got to get like Jeff Bezos.
Change how, well, I mean, think about how he looks at systems. I mean,
you're blowing my mind over here. I'm
get a book called Invent and Wander.
Invent and Wander.
Yeah. By, same guy who did Elon Musk and Steve Jobs, Walter Isaacson.
Okay.
Invent and Wander. It's the collected writings of Jeff Bezos, but basically it's his philosophy. He's where I got one-way doors and two-way doors.
Well, that podcast, I forget the guy's name.
Gosh.
That was good.
So good.
Yeah. I was just looking through those notes too and talking to somebody else about that.
Yeah.
So
so fascinated with radical obsession on customer satisfaction. Just absolutely fanatical.
And just the way that their brains think about money and investing and how to move it and where to put it and just
fun stuff, right?
Yes.
What's next for you?
Currently, traveling the world with the team actually, which has been amazing. So getting, shaking hands and kissing babies.
Are they happy when you roll into town?
Yeah, it's been a different experience the last year doing it without my best friend. And it's totally different. Many people kind of say it in this way. And I think many people listening can relate to this too. There just comes a time when you have to really step into it for yourself. You have to step into the light. You have to step into the higher level of leadership. And I was already doing that, but I was doing it with someone by my side. And so it looks a lot different now.
When you think everything happens for a reason, you're one of the reasons.
I do think that. I know that.
Because you're a different person.
I am.
You're not a different person.
I'm an amplified version of.
But no, you've given yourself permission to be a fuller version of yourself.
Yes, for sure.
And it ended differently, but I was in a long-term business relationship with a friend, which ended badly. But he was Batman and I was Robin. So she was Batman, you were Robin, right? So, and when I started to become Batman, he didn't like it. So he found ways to make my life miserable for a series of time. I know that wouldn't have happened with you guys, but the fact that you're not Robin.
But it's a different level of grief that you're sharing. Like,
I understand.
Like I get what you're saying. It's not that would have happened, but by the way that Batman and Robin separated for you, it was still creating a transition.
It had to happen. Had to happen. It was terrible. It was awful. But and
fight or flight mode for at least a year.
This was also terrible and awful.
Yeah.
But maybe being Robin was stunting your growth just a bit.
Well, she would always try to throw me out there and push me and
I know.
And couldn't understand where. I think it's really, really interesting because immediately people saw me differently. Before I even felt like I was different.
I didn't right away.
Yeah.
I didn't right away. I saw it like maybe
I wouldn't say people that were close to me or people
3-4 months after. Then I went, oh.
When you first saw me, it was heavy.
There she is. There she is.
Like a beautiful butterfly.
Look.
Just
she wasn't just a friend.
Yeah.
She's a builder.
Yeah.
That's the legacy. That's the stuff. Tell me a Jessie Lee story that nobody knows.
Jessie Lee's story that nobody knows. I think that she was so raw and authentic that people really felt like they knew her so deeply. And what I really feel is that in her transition, I feel like the entire world grieved her to the extent, in a way that we'll never see again, in my opinion. I'm a little biased, but not only did she touch people that never met her before and they didn't understand why they were grieving, people that watched their friend lose someone that they never met and grieve at the level they grieved created a massive ripple effect. People are now finding Jessie Lee because of that. Because my friend is crying and grieving the loss of this woman that they never even met and they don't understand it. And I've continuously like validated that grief for everyone. Like the grief for you is valid, that you're facing, that you don't understand where it's coming from. And we have grief and transitions all the time in our lives. And the story that I think people don't tend to think about as often is that she's still just a woman. And she was, an introvert, and she was funny and loud and connected on such a deep level with everyone that she came in contact with, that her heart was so huge. As you were sharing that before, just sending a gift is like, what do you get? I remember her saying, like, I don't know, what do you get the person who can buy themselves everything? And she was constantly trying to find ways to just let you know that she saw you for being a person, not this celebrity in people's eyes. You were a friend to her, and and she just made that magic for everyone. And I think that the story that people don't know is, she would talk about it a lot, but she's the godmother to my 3 babies. And, she was very much so online, this social media phenomenon, but she, even in the midst of being this global leader and building her organization, she showed up for the birth of my second child, and we lived within 20 minutes of each other, and she was training for Eric on an event. And she's like in the middle of it, sorry guys, I got to take this phone call, to be there for the birth of my 3rd baby.
I remember.
That turned 2, the week that we were in the hospital. And that is the side of her that I don't think not enough people got to witness. Just that love and that support and that appreciation. As I really thought I was going to cry sooner in this. She was the best friend. And I know that I will never meet another person like her. The amount of, I didn't just lose my best friend. I didn't just lose a mentor. I lost a lot of people in one.
Yeah.
She was such an anchor of trust for me.
I don't think you lost her.
I mean, no, I didn't physically.
Yeah.
But her power and her energy, it transferred into all of us.
Yeah.
That's how powerful she is. And her energy lives on through all of us. I saw it immediately watching you at GoPro, just the things that you trained forever that she took on as hers. And then you're sharing it in a totally different way. And I'm just like, Jessie Lee is here in the building.
Yep.
And she just does it all the time. And she cares, and she's still carrying on her mission. And I say that often, and I still think that it's not enough. She's just the best person I've ever known.
Yeah. It's like the similar analogy for me as a mentor type of a thing was Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn taught me that you can live forever. And the only way to do it is to take a piece of yourself and pour it into somebody else. So he did that, and the whole world was impacted by that one guy.
Yes.
And most people never know his name, but they were impacted.
It's still crazy to think.
Yeah, and
how
will
far
be for
the reach.
hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Hundreds of years from now, he'll be quoted. Nobody will even know who they're quoting. But such iconic teachings, right? So he did that. I poured, trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
and see how many people I can reach in the time that I have to see if I can live forever in some way, in some fashion.
Right.
Poured into Jessie Lee, who poured into you, who's continuing the journey, And I think we're here to try and see what we can do with this world and see how many people's lives we can touch and impact in a positive way. We use products and services as an excuse to spend more time with each other.
Yeah.
And help each other to become better.
She didn't have to do this profession anymore. And she continuously said, I'm here for the people. And I think that legacy not only lives on through me, but through thousands of other people of just remembering to say their name. And she said that multiple times. I think this is from Jim Rohn or one of the other greats. It's like, you die 2 times. It's the day that you go into the ground and the last time someone says your name. Yeah. And
I don't even think you die that time because the spirit keeps going.
Yeah. The energies and everything.
You know what I mean? There's people are quoting Jim Rohn today. They don't know they're quoting Jim Rohn.
Yeah. I forget. And
they don't know.
We quote the greats all the time. I'm like, which one was it? Which one said it?
And it doesn't matter.
Right.
And you know what? He never cared.
It's the teachings that
he never cared to take credit for it, ever. He never said, hey, that was my stuff.
Right. Just spread the good word.
That's the reason why I don't care, either. Take it. Take it. And if it's valuable and it works, pass it forward. Is the only thing I ask. So thank you for stepping into the best version of you.
Thank you.
It's fun to watch your metamorphosis.
Oh, thank you. That's our team emblem.
I think it's just starting.
Butterfly.
I think it's just starting. You feel the same?
Yeah. I feel like I heard from a lot of people for a long time that the first year after losing like a deep loss, it's fight or flight mode. That's what trauma creates for us is, just survival. Just one thing to the next. It's been this time warp. It happens in labor, call it labor land. And I've called this grief land where I just don't really know time very much and creeps up on you fast. And I feel like this next year is kind of just reestablishing the actual intentional steps that I'm taking. Very massive vision and big goals and, growing the team and all of those things. And also personally actually becoming the entrepreneur that's not just the micro or the
right.
Yeah.
Can I give you one piece of advice?
Yes.
So there's a friend of mine, his name is Kyle Wilson, who ran Jim Rohn's businesses. And created this Jim Rohn International, and he just did all the behind the scenes stuff. And since Jim Rohn passed, all he would talk about is Jim Rohn. And I keep telling Kyle, it's okay for you to be Kyle.
Yeah.
Okay. You can honor Jim, but you're not Jim.
Nope.
And I would say the same thing to you. You're not Jessie Lee, and you don't need to be. And you can honor her without quoting her every 5 seconds. You can honor her by being the best version of you. That's what you'd want. Right?
Yeah.
So she's not looking for the credit.
No.
She wasn't then. She's not now. Right? So
she's probably fist pumping right now to you.
Right. For sure. Be the best version. Be the best version of you. Show the world what you're made of. Take what you've learned and build on it. That's what I've tried to do from Mr. Rohn, is take what I learned from him and build on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the mystery of mentors and dealing with separation anxiety and being able to honor through your actions more than your words.
Yes.
That I think that's what she'd want for you. I think that's what you should want for you. And play big, sister. It's time.
I'm stepping into it.
Yeah. I mean, I want to see you at 45.
It's going to be crazy.
10
10
years
years.
from now. 10 years from now. Where are we going to be? We're going to be in a spaceship somewhere probably.
Yeah. 10 years is crazy to think about. Because when I set goals for 5 years, I accomplish them way faster than that.
Yeah, 5 years.
Every time.
It's almost impossible to set a goal for 5 years.
No.
Because it's moving too fast.
And then the 1 year is like, almost
we go 18
stretch
months
yourself.
at a time.
Yeah.
As far as directional. I don't have specific ones anymore, like a dollar figure or something. It's just directional.
Yeah.
Want to go in a particular direction. Well, anyway, thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing what you've shared. And I appreciate our friendship. I'm excited to watch your adventure, your journey as you go forward for you and your team. Say hi to your team for me.
I will. I appreciate you very much. Thank you. This is such an honor.
You're very, very welcome. Thanks for coming. So that's my conversation with Courtney Shepard. I hope you got value from it. If you did, if there's a Jessie Lee fan out there, or a new Courtney fan, forward this to somebody who might get value from it, who might appreciate it, who might enjoy it. We're in the business of bringing as much value as we can. And you help us every day by helping us spread the word so more people can hear the good word. So have a great day. I'll see you next time. Everybody, keep being amazing. Take care.